Hi, good evening to everybody and welcome to Medcity's yet another Facebook live session tonight. And before we start the session today, I just would love to say hi to people who are joining me from different parts of the world. And there are a lot of people who are saying hi. And thank you so much. Shamlal says good evening. Good evening, Shamlal. Vikas says I'm sorry, that's a little bit technical errors. And Jenny says hi, and thank you so much for that. And Lebna says good evening. And Ragesh says hi, sir, hi. And Vijay says good evening to everybody. And Divya says good evening to everyone. And Priya says hi, sir, how are you? Priya, I'm very fine. How about you? Hope you are doing really good. Thank you so much after a long time. And Lijo Anthony says waiting to see the session. That's great with here. And Alina Catherine says, sir, I'm watching it. Thank you so much for joining. Great. All right. Nina says good evening. Right. Ashwadi says good evening. And once again, thank you for joining today's session. And as you have already given a brief information, that is today we are going to deal OET reading part, which normally people say that's very toughest one, and therefore I want to really help all the students, those who are joining today, how possibly and effectively one can do OET reading. So once again, Ria Binu says good evening. Sneha says hello, sir. Hello and good evening to everybody. So once again, good evening to all of you, and let me just get to the session. Probably the importance of tonight's session is to tell you and to make you understand how effectively one could do OET reading module. As I said at the beginning, most of the time students do say that reading is a tough task. My question, is that so? And if at all you think that reading is really tough, please let me know that how many of you say that reading is really tough. Maybe some of the people say that yes, it is really tough. Do you know why it's gonna be tough? It is just because we are not familiar with this kind of text or this kind of journals. The only way to make things familiar is start doing medical journals, a lot of reading. So probably let me just take you to the reading subtest today. So can I start now? Hope a lot of people are joining me, and let me just begin. So before I start, I just would love to tell you that tonight we are going to talk about part B and part C of OET reading, and exclusively in today's session I just would love to talk about part B, and in next live session, that is next Thursday, we will be talking about, or rather we will discuss part C. So I want all of you to just understand before what exactly part B, and I want you to have a look what exactly part B, and I want all of you to look at the desktop. Reading part B, of course, it consists of 6 different extracts, and the extract is based upon workplace, and the extract can be from a policy document, or it could be from hospital guidelines, it could be from manuals, it could be from emails, it could be from memos. So this is how they just get the reading material, or rather the extract will be based upon, as I said, either documentation or some kind of guidelines or some kind of manuals or emails or memos. But at the end of the day, whether it is a manual, whether it's a memo, that is secondary to us. What is important for us? Read and understand and answer the question. Now the type of questions that we get in OET part B is multiple choice question, and which is normally tricky, and sometimes it can be even confusing because the answer options are multiple choice. There will be 3 answer options, 1 question, and probably you will have a lot of time to get confused because the answer options would be sometimes similar. Maybe a single word might differ. So that's the reason most of the time students say it is tough. So let me just take you to the strategy. And as I said, probably tonight I'm going to talk to you about a basic strategy with which you can do part B. And I also hope that this session would definitely help most of the students when you start learning certain methods. I don't really claim that this method would definitely get you the answer. But when you start practicing this method, probably you will be able to manage and get your answers maybe pretty easy manner. So let's try what exactly the method with which we can do part B. And I wanted to teach you, or rather I just would love to share a strategy here. The first step, please just look at and read the step. The first step that you have to do is read the question along with answer options. Try to identify the keywords such as noun, verbs and numbers, and paraphrase those identified keywords from the question as well as the option. So I want all of you to look at the step with which we are supposed to do part B. Read the question along with the answer options and try to pick the keywords. The keywords could be either a name, or it could be a verbal form, or it could be a number. And try to identify the synonyms. So this is the first step which I really want you to do. So let me just take you to the file now, and hope in between, there are a lot many people who are joining me, and I really want to say hi to everyone. But of course, I have hardly 1 hour in front of me, and let me just try to give you a little input how possibly a student can effectively do reading part B. And therefore, please join me, and you are also going to do with me, and therefore you start commenting your answers once we start with the strategy. Let's try out this one, right? Okay. Let me just take you to one question from part B. So as you can see, I really want all of you to look at the text which is there on the screen. So the text, I hope it's visible to everyone. Is there anyone who finds it a problem in finding the text? So I have shared it, and I want all of you to look at which is on the screen, and I want you to do this one. Read the question along with the answer options. Let's try out and pick the keywords. The keywords are nouns, verbs and numbers. Let's read like this. The policy documents tells us that. So you have to fill this sentence, because the sentence is this: the policy document tells us something, and you have to fill this sentence, or it is called sentence completion with the correct ending, because that sentence is not yet end. So it has something else, and that is in the form of answer option. Now read like this: the policy document tells us that, right? It tells us that. What exactly it is telling us? It is telling us that stop dates are not relevant. The keyword, the policy document points out that, says that, tells us that stop dates are not relevant. A particular date to stop your drug is not relevant in all circumstances, in all situations. So I want you to look at the keywords. The policy document says that stop dates are not relevant in all situations. So keep the keyword, the policy document says that stop dates are not relevant, not important, all circumstances. Second one, the policy document tells us that anyone using EPMA can disagree the request of a stop date. So the policy document says that anyone using EPMA can ignore, can reject the stipulated stop date. So think of actually two answer options, which says policy document says that stop dates are not important in certain circumstances. Policy document says that anyone who is using drugs through EPMA can ignore the stop date. And finally, the policy document tells us that prescribers, which means the doctors or those who are prescribing, must know what they must know. They must know what is the stop date in advance. So there are three answer options which you have to identify and choose it. First thing, the policy document says that stop dates are not relevant in all circumstances. Second thing, the policy document says that anyone who is using drug through EPMA can ignore a stop date. Third answer option says that the policy document says that prescribers, which means the doctors, those who are prescribing, should know what is exactly the stop date in advance. Now your job is very simple. You got the question, you got the answer options. Now the second step, you got to read the entire given passage and start eliminating the options one by one. How do I eliminate? On the basis of contrasting option or not given option. You must ask me, what is contrasting? Contrasting means an option is given, exactly opposite idea is being given in the paragraph. Now let's say if I say I love, the opposite is that I hate. Now you need to understand whether the policy document says that stop dates are not relevant in all circumstances, or policy document says that anyone who uses the drug through EPMA can reject or ignore or avoid a stop date. And finally, prescribers, that means with the doctors, should know what is the stop date beforehand. Now let's read. While reading, please try to locate those keywords. The keywords not relevant all circumstances. EPMA users can ignore the date. The last one, the doctors must know the stop date in advance. Now let's read. I want all of you to read along with me and pick the answers, and I'll give you the time. And now it's the time for you to pick the answer. Please start reading the given text and please start commenting your answers. And I hope already people have started giving the answers, and I really want all of you to read and give the answer options. Yes, please. A lot of people started to give the answers. Okay. Some of them says that Maria says it's A. Okay. And Simi says it's A. Shilpa says it's A. Okay. All right. Okay. Someone, Preeti says it's not visible. Preeti, is it really not visible? And I feel that I have shared the file, and probably I hope others are able to answer it, and which means of course it is visible. And Suja says it's A, Matthew says it's A, Ampika says it's A. All right, most of the people are saying it's A. Okay, Ashwati Nair says good evening dear. The keywords are to be paraphrased, really helpful for tackling the correct answers. Okay, Snehamol says good evening. Yes, Harshni says it's answer A. Thank you so much. Anu says it's right. Anu says hi. Okay, Vibin says it's hi. And I also have given you a job here. Please read and pick the answer options. Right. Hope so. Most of the people have given the answers, and some of them said it is answer is A. So A is the given in the end of this paragraph. B is not given, and C is okay. Contradiction. Susan says okay. Exactly, Susan. That's a great explanation. All right, fantastic. Okay, fine. So now let me take you to the answers here. Now, how do I eliminate answers? You can eliminate on the basis of contrasting option. You can eliminate answers on the basis of not given. This is the trick that normally the research and development team in education use when they create MCQs question. They always make answer options either which is contradictory to the given ideas in the paragraph, or sometimes that particular idea may not be discussed in the paragraph. So it's simple to identify what is contrasting, what is not given. Let's do this one. Right. Hope you join with me. Right. See, let's start with one by one. The policy document tells us that stop dates are not relevant in all circumstances. Now, anyone uses EPMA can ignore a stop date or which is suggested. And finally, prescribers must know what should be the stop date in advance. Now let's read. Prescribers should, clearly the keyword that is pertaining to answer option C. Prescribers must, should write a review date or a stop date on the electronic prescribing system or EPMA. Electronic Prescribing and Medication Administration, that's called EPMA. Even if you do not know, that's not going to make much sense here. So prescribers should write a review date or a stop date on the electronic prescribing system or the medicine chart for each antimicrobial agent prescribed. So now if you look at the third option and the given ideas, the option 3 says that the policy document tells that the doctors must know the stop date in advance, whereas the text says that prescribers should write a review date or a stop date on the electronic prescribing system or EPMA or the medicine chart for each antimicrobial agent prescribed. Now if you look at here, does this paragraph say that prescribers must or should know that the stop date in advance? Probably you might assume the paragraph says that prescribers should write. You may think that it is simply implied that if they know only, they could write. Probably you may think it that way, but the point is here, that is your assumption or that is you implied. But the question whether the text says that prescribers must know the stop days in advance, does the paragraph and does or 3 lines, do those lines said that actually prescribers must know the stop date in advance? Probably it is not said. And this is how most of the time I said certain things will trick you. So it's your job to identify and find out how possibly this answer option can contradict it. So look at again, prescribers should write a review date or a stop date. But the answer option says that they should know the stop date in advance. It is no way synced and it is no way related. So therefore C we're gonna eliminate here. And now let's go with the next one. On the EPMA, there is a forced entry for stop date on oral antimicrobials. There is not a forced stop date on EPMA for IV antimicrobial treatment. If the prescribers knows how long the course of the IV should be, then the stop dates can be filled in. So here again, there is not a forced stop date on EPMA for IV antimicrobial treatment. If it is through IV, it is not necessary to have a forced date. But on the EPMA, there is, if it is through oral, then there is actually a stop date. If it is through IV, it is not necessary. If not known, or if it is given through IV, if it is not known, then a review should be added to the additional information, which means a review after 48 hours. So the text says that in the case of oral, there must be a stop date. But if it is in the case of IV, there could be a stop date. If it is not known, there must be actually a review date must be in the information. So clearly it says that at times it is necessary to have a stop date if it is through oral. If it is through IV, it could be varies. So that's what exactly the test says. If the prescriber's desired treatment needs to continue beyond the stop date or course length indicated, then it is their responsibility to amend the chart. So the prescribers can't make the changes in the stat or in the chart of actually prescription. Now let's say IV, if the prescribers, the doctor thinks that in 2 days or 3 days or 4 days of there is a recovery, then probably they may put an end to it. But if they think that it is needed to be continued, they can also make the amendments or changes in providing the medication. And finally, in critical care, it has been agreed that the routine use of review stop dates on the chart is not always appropriate. Now, probably this all they are trying to talk about that in certain occasions, a stop date is not relevant. Probably we may not understand when you read as we are in the mid of examination. But let's see that the other answer option. Anyone using EPMA can disagree the request for a stop date. Does this information appear in the text? Probably this information is nowhere discussed. So this is how at times the answer option is hard to understand. When the answer option is hard for us to understand, or it is very difficult for us to read and comprehend, the only way that you can eliminate is actually look for what is contradictory and what is not given. Probably when you read B, it is nowhere else discussed that anyone using EPMA can ignore the date of stop. It is nowhere else discussed in the paragraph, therefore it is eliminated because it is not given. And when you look at C as an answer option, it says prescribers must know the stop date in advance. Whereas the text says that prescribers should write a review date or a stop date on the electronic prescribing system or EPMA or the medicine chart for each antimicrobial agent prescribed. And some occasions, if they are given through antibiotic through IV, it is not necessary. So when you read, you eliminate two answer options, either it is contrasting or either it is not given. And this is how possibly that you can eliminate the answer options. And again, the answer is stop dates aren't relevant in all circumstances, which is clearly said in critical care. It has been agreed that the routine use of review or stop date on the chart is not always appropriate, which is exactly leading to not always appropriate, not all circumstances. Paraphrase, always, all circumstances. Appropriate, not relevant, not relevant. So exactly the answer option is similar, or it is rather paraphrased, and therefore most of the people said the answer is A. And probably I was just trying to help you and you were able to do it even before I said the answers, because you were trying to do the same strategy, the strategy of reading the question along with the answer options and picking up the keywords, and you read the text and you eliminated, as you can see in the step 3, go to the answer option, you start eliminating on the basis of what is contradictory, means the answer option is exactly opposite what is said in the text, or the answer option is nowhere else discussed. And this is the simplest method through which any OET student can master OET reading part B and C, because C is also multiple choice question. Once again, the method is very simple. Read the question along with the answer options, pick the keywords, go to the text, identify the keywords, understand in detail, and eliminate the answer option on the basis of contrasting options and not given options. And at times it's very hard for us to understand answer option, but not given and contrasting pretty easy for us. I hope that method is gonna be helpful. And a great news, if you really want to try out this kind of methods and system, yes, please do watch out Medcity's OET app, and which is available. And I want all of you to just have a look on Medcity's OET app and watch actually free videos. And if at all you like actually the app which is provided by Medcity, which is a great solution, most of the time you can just do it according to your convenience rather than just being in the classroom or being in somewhere else. You can absolutely watch out the programs from our app, which is going to be updated every week. And if you really love the programs which are there in the OET app from Medcity, please, you can also get it actually with $4.99. And this is actually a limited offer, and the price can be changed at any time. So please make sure that and grab this wonderful opportunity and get this app. Probably the strategy and methods which I have talked to you just now is being clearly explained with a lot of illustrations. And not only that's reading, speaking, listening, writing, and again OET grammar sessions in detail explanation being included in the OET app. And it is just for $4.99, and this price is only for a limited period. And that is exactly a good news from Medcity, and please make use of those facilities that are at your doorstep. And let me take you to, yes, I want really all of you to see that it is actually doing the round, and please download the app. And let me take you to the second answer option, which I really want you to do by yourself. And here the second question, I'll give you exactly 2 minutes. And of course, I'll also help you with actually identifying the keywords. And I'll give you 2 minutes and pick the answers try to do the same method. Read the question along with the answer options. Pick the keywords. Let me just help you with that. Now let's go with the guidelines the guidelines inform us that personalized equipment for radiotherapy is advisable for all patients. Now you have to pick the keyword. Of course, it's a guideline, and the guidelines inform that personalized equipment which is used for radiotherapy is advisable. So the keyword personalized equipment which is used for radiotherapy is acceptable, is suitable, is appropriate. See, paraphrase the keyword advisable. So the personalized equipment which is used for radiotherapy is useful, suitable for all patients. Now your job is to read the text and identify whether this guideline says that yes, personalized equipment is suitable for all patients when it comes in terms of doing radiotherapy. That's a question. So the keyword is personalized equipment, suitable, all patients. Next one. Personalized equipment for radiotherapy improves. Okay, it improves. It makes a better quality, or it improves precision. The keyword is precision. So personalized equipments which are used for radiotherapy improves the accuracy. Precision means what? Accuracy, or it's exactly perfect when during radiation. So when the radiation takes place, or the radiotherapy takes place, when the treatment takes place, this kind of personalized equipment improves the accuracy of such treatment, and that's what the guideline says. I don't know. Again, the guidelines inform us that personalized equipment which is used for radiotherapy needs to be examined at the first consultation. Now your job is very simple. Don't try to confuse yourself. You have only three things. Okay, I got actually a question. The question says that nothing but, or the statement from a guideline says that personalized equipment which is used for radiotherapy is apt for all types of patients. Is that the one the text says? I don't know. Again, the guidelines says that personalized, individualized, or customized equipments which is used for radiotherapy improves the accuracy of treatment when it is being done in the case of radiotherapy. Again, the guideline says that personalized equipment which is used for radiotherapy needs to be tested. So the equipment needs to be tested at first consultation. There are three things which you have to go through now, and just try to understand the text in detail and look for the options. Does this guideline say that actually personalized equipment is really meant for all patients? I don't know. Again, does this paragraph say that actually personalized equipment really improves the quality of treatment or the radiation, especially during the radiation? And again, the guidelines informs that personalized equipment must be examined, evaluated, tested, checked at the first consultation. I want you to start reading. While you're reading, try to pick up this keywords, personalized equipment. Where is there in the text? Identify that. Is it suitable for all patients? Identify it. Is it improves the quality? Identify. Is it necessary to be tested? Let's do that. And your time starts, and I want all of you to start commenting. I think even before I say that, people started to do it. I think I stopped talking and start joining you people now. Right. Some of you people are saying that Jibin says it is okay. B. Pat says that good sir, good. A great app. Anju says okay. Pinky Johnson says okay, fine. Sabi Sumit says it's B. Okay, great. Sujal Josh says it's B. Vishnu Ajit says it's actually B. Right. A lot of people. Manju says it's B. Anju says it's B. Alright. Okay. Chirda John says that it's B. Most of the people are doing the round. Good. Fantastic. No one says A. Would someone say A or C, right? Then there will be a great chance of discussion. Alright. Sachin Jacob says it's B. Okay, fine. Alina Catherine says it's B. Okay, Anu Rajesh says it's B. Chippy says it's B. Alright. So if you say all the answers, why should I sit in here and do an explanation? Hope so. We'll do all together. Great job. Good job. Fantastic. It's going on. Good. Okay, Linto John says actually it's B. Good. Now, I have one request to all of you, the students, those who are doing it. And I'm sure that probably you might have seen this file before. That's secondary. You know, like the greatest thing that you have to do it when you practice. If I get B as my answer, always ask why not A and see my answers. Because the moment that you say yourself A, the reason for me to eliminate A is this, the reason for eliminating C is this, you are perfectly ready for your exam. And that's the time that you start evaluating yourself. Most of the time people do ask this question, A, are you capable of identifying what is right and what is wrong? And the only way that you can check yourself and say that, A, I have a reason for A to be eliminated. I have a reason for C to be eliminated because I'm pretty comfortable with it. What are my reasons? Only two reasons. Either could be contrasting option, or either could be not given option. And possibly as a student, if you can identify why A is eliminated and why B or C are eliminated. So probably you need to identify, and the day when you say that I have a reason, you have learned the trick of doing MCQs, multiple choice, either for listening or for reading, because the strategy would be the same. Now let's go and discuss. Would someone say why, if at all you say B is your answer, would someone say why A is not your answer? I want all of you to comment, because I said, or I have said just now, that when you started to say why I eliminated, there you start learning things. And I want all of you to comment, please, why and what's the reason that you have eliminated A. Would someone say that? I would be grateful if you could someone comment that, right? The same way, if you have reason for eliminating C, I would be again happy about it. Okay, right. Alina Catherine says that I have a confusion with A. Don't worry, we will clarify your confusion, and tonight you can go to bed without confusion. That's how we are going to do it today. Don't worry. All right. So how to manage time? All right. Oh, that's the biggest question. How to manage time? Now, if you were to ask me, I would simply say that you need not worry about managing time, because the example is manage your time, because they will give you the time to do it. But that's actually fun side. Let me tell you, management of time. Probably when it comes in terms of a classroom learning, we say that try to do each question in 2 minutes of time. Right. And that is not pretty easy. Since she asked me a question, how to manage time, let me give you the facts and figures about managing time. You can do it either 2 minutes of time, that part C each question. 2 minutes, 2 minutes, 2 minutes, 2 minutes, 6, 12 minutes. Probably you will get 33 minutes for part C. And that's not easy, because you need to have a specific method and strategy, and that's what exactly I'm talking about. Don't expect actually people to manage the time just a fine morning you get up and say that I have part C and I'll do it and part B. No, not at all. See, today I'm not really worried about managing time, because the first thing that we have to learn the procedure, we have to learn the method, and once you start doing this method, I have a specific method to do it, gradually you try to become yourself an expert, and the expertism manages your time. It is not just simply someone comes and says that I have a trick to manage your time. If someone would say that I'll teach you how to manage time, I think you should be more watchful, because the expertism makes that your time management. So therefore, learn the method, learn the strategy, and start doing over a period of time. You think of anything that you started at the beginning, it took some time, but over a period of time, you have started to manage your time. Talk about playing a game. Talk about cooking a curry. Is it the same time that you can consume today, which you did it 10 years ago? No, you do it faster, because you have become over a period as an expert. Here also, please learn the method and try to practice it. Do it for 5 to 6, 7 days. Probably I think the 8th day you would, today if you are doing it 5 minutes, maybe 8th day you would be able to do it 3 minutes. And that's the only way that I can help you out, and it's the only way that I can suggest you it. And I hope I'm genuine in saying that. and I really don't want to actually trouble people and giving you false promises, and I have a method to manage time. It's very simple and straightforward. I hope I answered your question. I really believe that. Okay, let's go. And some of the people are saying me B is the answer, and Catherine asked me it's a little confusing, that A part. Okay, let's have a discussion, and I really wanted all of you to comment why you have eliminated why you have eliminated A and C, if at all you think that B is your answer. Let's go with C. The guidelines inform that personalized equipment which is used for radiotherapy is suitable for all patients. Let's look for that information. Guideline informs us that personalized equipment for radiotherapy improves the accuracy while giving the treatment or during the treatment. Alright, guidelines informs us that personalized equipment which is used for radiotherapy should go through a checking at the initial consultation. Now let's begin reading. The initial appointment, oh God, a straight away linking word. First consultation, initial appointment. You have all the way to link yourself to the answer option C, right? Probably the first instant when you look at actually, all right, personalized equipments need to be tested at first consultation. Where is first consultation? In the first line itself. The initial appointment may also be referred to as the stimulation appointment. Now look at here, you need to identify that the guidelines says that personalized equipments for radiotherapy needs to be tested at first consultation. But what exactly saying that? The initial appointment, they are not asking us to test the personalized equipment. They're asking us to do something else in the initial appointment. This is how you need to actually link and sync together. The initial appointment may also be referred to as the stimulation appointment. During this appointment, which appointment? The initial or the first consultation, you will discuss your patient's medical history. Okay, what do you do in the initial consultation? Discuss the patient's medical history, treatment options, all right, and agree on a radiotherapy treatment plan. The first step is usually to take a CT scan of the required, CT scan of the area requiring treatment. The patient will meet the radiation oncologist and the registrar and the radiation therapist. Now look at here, the entire text is talking about what to be done in the first consultation or the initial consultation. So far the text is trying to talk about what to be done in the initial or in the first consultation. Now tell me that, do this line say that the first consultation is meant to be, or it is assigned to have a checking of personalized equipment? Does it really say that? It is nowhere else discussed that personalized equipments that are used for radiotherapy should be evaluated at the first consultation. It is nowhere else discussed. It rather talked about first consultation, but it was nowhere else mentioned that the personalized equipment should be tested. So probably this is the best way possible that you can eliminate C, stating that, hey, come on, they talked about first consultation, but what to be done during this first consultation is clearly explained, but nowhere else talked about personalized equipment should be tested, and I have a strong reason to eliminate C. And if you can do this one, great job. And now let's go ahead. A decision will be made regarding the best and most comfortable position for treatment, that is during the first consultation, until it is not talking about the equipments need to be tested. And this will be replicated daily for the duration of the treatment. Depending on the area of the body to be treated, personalized equipment, yes, now we get the exact keyword that is there in the given statement, the exact keyword. The guidelines informs that personalized equipment. Now you start reading. The personalized equipment such as face mask may be used to stabilize the patient's position. Now they're talking about personalized equipment. One, they really mentioned here actually mask. which would definitely helps to stabilize or balance the patient's position, and still this equipment helps keep the patient comfortable, and still during the treatment, again it is actually leading to the keywords in the question. During, it is there in the answer option, during radiation. It's nothing but during the treatment, makes the treatment more accurate. So the entire idea, the personalized equipment, which is mentioned here as one mask, which could stabilize the position of the patient. And again, they said that this equipment, which is very much personalized, keeps the patient comfortable and still during the treatment, and makes the treatment more accurate. And exactly, precision is paraphrased as accurate, improves, makes the treatment better. So they say that exactly the personalized equipment, which is used for radiotherapy, can improve the precision during the treatment. And that's the reason most of you have selected what exactly B as your answer, because C, it is nowhere else discussed. And now again, A. What's the reason for you to eliminate A? And I'm sure at the end of the day when you read, you would say that where exactly explain that personalized equipment which is used for radiotherapy is suitable for all the patients. It is nowhere else discussed. So you have a strong reason for the A to be eliminated. You have a strong reason which is so comfortable to eliminate C option as well. Now this is what I said. At times the students, probably most of them, because I do experience the same comments from students that stating that, sir, even after reading, going through a lot of putting efforts, still it is not reaching up, or I'm not able to identify. One thing, please trust me, the style of making answer options either for IAS, IPS, 5th class, 6th class, if there is MCQs questions, always the answer options are taken, or it is being selected in the form of contrasting option, not given options. Probably this was not being taught when we were in 5th class, and that's the reason we badly manage those things. But today we understand, yes, this is the method and this is how I can manage it, and probably this should really help you. Please apply this strategy. I don't really claim that you're gonna be an expert by tomorrow, but over a period of time you become an expert. Once you become an expert, automatically someone asks me how to manage the time, you will be able to manage it. Let me take you to one more, and this is your chance to do the third question using the same strategy and applying the same method. Your time starts now, and I'm waiting to see your comments and the answers. Please don't just give me the answer alone. Give me the reason why you eliminate the other two options if at all you select one as your answer, because that's only how one can confirm and say that this is my answer at the end of the day. Because on the day of your exam, you are your teacher, you are your student. When it comes in the classroom, there is a teacher to give you an explanation. But whom would you ask on the day of exam? Would someone answer your question? No, you are left alone. So please, the strategy would definitely help you. And I want you to give me the reason why you eliminate if at all you select one as an answer. And that's what I'm more interested in rather than the answers. I would love to see that the reason for you to eliminate certain options. So your time starts now. Yes. Let's read together. Doctors are advised to break patient confidentiality. So this is the key. Doctors are advised to do something that is nothing but break patient confidentiality if, right, failure to do so, if the doctors are failed to do so, which means if the doctors are not breaking, it would put others in danger. So when can a doctor break the confidentiality of the patient? A doctor can break the patient's secrecy if he or she is not breaking it. It would put others in danger. So whenever the doctor is keeping certain things as a secrecy, it can actually put others in danger. The key word is what? it can put others in danger. So keyword would be danger, risk, problem, difficulties, or some sort of impediments. Think of actually what are the occasions a doctor can break the confidentiality of the patient. One answer option says that if the doctor is not doing, it might put others in trouble. Such occasion, the doctor can break the confidentiality of the patient. Okay, let's go. Doctors are advised to break patient confidentiality if they inform, who is this they? The doctors, inform the patient of their intention in advance. In advance. So the doctor is allowed to break the confidentiality of the patient if they inform the intention beforehand. Intention means the purpose of revealing the secrecy. If it is said priorly, if it is said beforehand, they can break the confidentiality of the patient. Please do understand the answer option properly. If you don't understand the answer option properly and exactly, you will never ever understand the text and you will not get the answer. So please understand the answer options properly. A doctor can reveal the secrecy. If he is not doing so, it might put others in trouble. Such occasion, the doctor can break. Okay, next one. The doctor can break the secrecy if he or she informs things in advance. What informs? What informs the patient of their intention. They should come and say that, hey, there is a purpose with which I want to disclose these things. Oh, this is the purpose of disclosing this secrecy. But you should inform before that you disclose this intention to the patient. Next, doctors are advised to break patient's confidentiality if a patient refuses. Keyword. If a patient refuses what? Refuses to disclose information relevant to their care. So there are three possible occasions a doctor can break the secrecy or the confidentiality of the patient. First one, if the doctor is not revealing, it might put others in trouble, it might put others in risk, it might put them in risk. Such occasions, the doctor can break the silence. The secrecy. And second thing, the doctor informs the intention, the purpose, the aim beforehand, then the doctor can also reveal the secrecy of the patient. Finally, the patient is not willing to disclose information which is important to their care. Such occasion also a doctor can reveal the secrecy. Now I want all of you to start reading it and eliminate the answer options and just comment it why you eliminate certain answer options and why you don't eliminate. Okay, a lot of people are there. Yes, some of them are saying, right, Molly Cherian says it's A. Okay, Nina says it's A. Sneha says it's B. Ampika Krishnan says it's A. Sneha says again it's B. Okay, Lakshmi says it's B. Okay, others exposed to risk. Okay, good. Alright, how to manage the time? I think I already answered how to manage the time. Probably you want me to talk about how to manage the time. I already talked about it. Probably, like the only way that we can manage time is actually practice and practice and practice. Obviously that would definitely make us expert, and once we have this expertism, we will be able to it. But having said that doesn't mean that actually we don't have a time management system. We always ask them to do it actually in 2 minutes of time. You also need to put actually time clock stating that possibly I will be able to do it in 2 minutes of time. Right. I'm waiting to see your answers. Please, I want to see your answers. And okay, Jolly Vincent says it's A. Alright. And hope so. Please give me an explanation, if at all A is your answer, why do you really eliminate B and C? And as I said, give a self-explanation. Give a convincing explanation to yourself whenever you do. and take each answer option one by one and tally with the text. Make sure that, oh, this information is mentioned here. It is mentioned, but exactly opposite. Oh, I need to eliminate because it is contrasting. Right, this information is not being discussed in the paragraph. I'll eliminate because it's not given. This information is discussed in the paragraph, but that is presented in different words. That's called paraphrasing or using synonyms. Let me just see your answers once again. Okay, please says it's A. All right. Hope so. Most of the people are answering it, and let me just take you to the explanation part and let's read together and see what exactly the answer. Now, the doctors are allowed to break the secrecy or confidentiality of the patient if certain conditions are there. The first condition, if they do not disclose, it might put others in danger. If the doctors do not disclose this secrecy, right, it might put others in danger. First thing. Second thing, a doctor can disclose the secrecy if he or she informs the intention behind disclosing the secrecy. There is a purpose. Probably the purpose would be, let's say, to get a better treatment, probably, or to have an extended treatment. I don't know. It depends upon the situation. So if the doctor says that, dear, I'm going to disclose the secrecy because my intention is that you need to get a complete treatment, because I'm not telling this thing to other doctors, your treatment is compromised. So you need to say this intention beforehand, such occasions you can do it. And finally, if the patient is not willing to disclose, information relevant to the care. Now let's read. Confidentiality is central to trust between doctors and patients. Without assurance about confidentiality, patients may be reluctant to seek medical attention or to give doctors the information they need in order to provide good care. Now, the first paragraph, you might be a bit taken up by certain words which are very similar to the answer option. That's called spoilers, or that is actually more similar to it, which can put you at times in trouble. Now let's say that confidentiality is central to trust between doctors and patients. Without assurance regarding confidentiality, patients may not even willing to come and get the treatment, and they also may not disclose certain information related to their care. But does this paragraph, yes, the small paragraph from this passage, really say that the doctor can reveal the confidentiality? It is nowhere else discussed here in 2.5 lines saying that a doctor can reveal the secrecy. No, they're just talking about the importance of confidentiality in a relationship of doctor and patients. They didn't say that actually the doctor can actually reveal the secrecy. Now again, however, faced with a situation, they're talking about a situation, faced with a situation in which a patient's refusal. Now it's exactly linking to the word refusal. The patient refuses, here also patient refuses to consent. So here you have to look this word, the consent. The patient is not willing to give consent. But the answer option says that the patient refused to disclose. Probably you need to think and locate the keywords. Patient refuses. Here it is patient's refusal. Both are same. The next is what? The answer option says that the patient refuses to disclose information relevant to their care. But the statement says here from the text, patient's refusal to consent. The patient is not willing to give consent, but the answer option says that the patient is not willing to disclose information which is necessary for treatment or care. But the text says that the patient is not willing to consent, to give consent, give agreement to disclose. So maybe it's so close to answer option C, but you can easily eliminate it. The text says that the patient is not willing to give consent. The patient is not willing to give agreement, or the patient is not giving an agreement or a consent in order to disclose the secrecy. Answer option C says that patient refuses to disclose information. One is refuse to give consent. Option says refuse to disclose information. Would it be good together? See, when you say refuse to disclose information, she is not or he is not willing to say the detail or the details relevant to the care. But the text says that refuse to give consent to disclose. So she is not agreeing to disclose. So therefore, C we gracefully eliminate. One is refuse to give consent, that is the text. Answer option says refuse to disclose information. So something that is exactly opposite. This situation, the situation in which the patient is not willing to give consent in order to reveal, this situation leaves others exposed to risk. Now we understand a situation in which the patient is not give agreement, or the patient is not agreeing at least to disclose the secrecy, and this puts others in risk. The word risk is exactly matching to put other people in danger. And if you look at leaves others, put other people, leave others exposed to a risk, put others in danger. Now you understand the keywords are matching with the answer option and the text. Such occasions, you have to be a little cautious reading that particular area. A situation in which a patient is not willing to give consent in order to disclose, put others in risk so serious that, and the risk is so serious that it outweighs, it overcomes. So the situation is so serious that it overcomes the patient's and the public interest in maintaining confidentiality. So the situation is such a serious which simply overcomes the patient's or the public confidentiality because it exposes others to risk. So serious. Or if it is not practical or safe to seek the patient consent, information should be disclosed promptly to an appropriate person or an authority. So the entire line here says that when the patient is refusing to give consent to reveal the secrecy, which can put others in risk, which is so serious, and it simply outweighs, it simply overcomes the patient confidentiality or the public confidentiality, and there is no use of seeking the consent, such occasion the information should be disclosed promptly. So it says that when others are put at danger, when if the secrecy is not being disclosed, such occasion the doctors need not bother about the person's confidentiality or the other's confidentiality because it may put others in trouble. So it all leads to the answer option as A. I think most of the people have commented saying that answer option A, and C we have eliminated. And finally, the information, the patient of their intention, they inform the patient of their intention in advance. Now, of course, you got the answer option as A, and you had strong reasons to eliminate answer option C. Now, let's look at how about answer option B. It says that the doctors can break the patient confidentiality if they inform the patient of their intention in advance. Now, somewhere else we can see here, the patient should be informed in advance. Oh, exactly matching to the answer option, right? They inform the patient of their intention in advance. Probably this is also very much similar, right? The patient should be informed in advance. Everything is telling that the doctor will be disclosing the information. That's what you have to see. My dears, this is what I said. Sometime or at times you see that the answer options are moreover similar. How do I really manage it? Don't tell me, sir, this is so confusing. but always there is the next keyword. Now look at, everything is matching here. The doctors inform the patient of their intention in advance. Here also saying that the patient should be informed in advance. But we need to ask a question. Should the patients be informed in advance the intention of the doctor or something else? Because the line says that the patient should be informed in advance that the doctors will be disclosing the information. The answer option says that the doctors should inform the patient related their intention of revealing the secrecy. But the text says that the patient should be informed in advance that the doctor is going to disclose the secrecy. That's one thing. Provided this is a practical and safe, and it's gonna be practical and safe, such occasions, of course, the doctor can tell the patient that we are going to disclose the secrecy. And I hope the strong reasons you have in order to eliminate the wrong answer options. And it takes me to almost like 1 hour. I know that the time has just flown away, but still hoping that probably, I don't really claim that this has become the best, but maybe it might definitely help you as you start practicing. So just rewind the strategy with which we have done and read the question along with the answer options, pick the keywords, read the text, underline the keywords, eliminate wrong answer options on the basis of contrasting option and not given option. And hope so you understood and you enjoyed, and see you with another live session next week. Thank you so much from Medcity for joining tonight. Hope you really had a great session. Thank you so much for coming again, and see you next week. Till then, goodbye.